Am I the a-hole for telling my husband's family and friends that he didn't buy the house but both of us did? My husband, male 34, and I, female 31, bought our first single-story house a few weeks ago. We both put money towards it, and both our names are on the title. Then days ago, we hosted dinner for his family. My family live in another state, and friends to celebrate this occasion. They brought gifts and took a tour around the house. We had an overall good time. Until dinner. My husband suddenly started telling the story of how much he sacrificed, how many extra jobs he took, and how many years he spent to save for and buy this house, completely ignoring my part or role in it. I was confused. I kept staring at him as he went on about how he found a house and how much trouble he got into to get it. His family and friends looked impressed as he kept saying, "My house this, my house that." I said, "Hold on," and told them that it's not his house, but our house, because we both equally saved and contributed equally to be able to purchase it. His mom asked if I was serious, and I offered to show her the legal document. My husband looked at me shocked and got quiet, while his friends and family kept looking at him. He then excused himself to the bathroom for 40 minutes. I had to say goodbye to the guests by myself. He later blew up asking what the heck I just did. I said he shouldn't have lied to them in the first place. And then he asked, "What could you possibly gain by saying what you said? What could you have possibly lost if you didn't? Do you ever think before you speak?" I got mad and replied that he was dismissing my role in buying the house, and I didn't like that. He was like, "Oh, so you decided to humiliate me in front of my family and friends to appear important? Pretentious much?" I found this insulting, but he argued I messed up and ruined his joy in the new home when I could have avoided it. I got tired of arguing, so I went to sleep. He has gone radio silence the next day and has been acting upset for days now. Now for the top comments. What could you have possibly gained by saying what you said? What could you have possibly lost if you didn't? Do you ever think before you speak? Lol, he practiced the speech in the bathroom for 40 minutes, and that's the best he could come up with. Not stay home. I'm glad I checked the comments. Get out of my brain, Hubo Clown. So, he's fine with humiliating you personally in front of friends and family so long as they don't realize he's minimized your contribution? That's a messed up logic. Not stay home, but your husband most definitely is. Bit of an immature little crybaby too. And how weird is it to say that she's pretentious and needing to feel important by telling the truth, but he's not for lying? I'm scared for her realizing the type of person she's married. And they just bought a home together. Yikes. Not stay home. He's presenting the whole thing that he bought the house himself, was humiliating you in front of his family. You just set the record straight. If he was being truthful, he'd have no reason to be upset about your reaction. But he wasn't being truthful, and he humiliated himself by doing that. Exactly. He was humiliating his wife, so he lost the opportunity to discuss things privately. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. There was no reason for him to do what he did. Not stay home. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for yelling at my fiancé and calling him insecure after he deleted my work project to get back at me for not going with him to his friend's birthday party? My fiancé's best friend's birthday party was yesterday. My fiancé wanted me to go with him, but I apologized and said I couldn't because I had to finish a work project in the evening and barely had time. He said it was unacceptable since the party was held at a prestigious restaurant and all his friends were going to bring their partners. He insisted I go with him, but I told him if I don't complete this project soon, I will lose potential promotion next month, and someone else will take my place. He just looked at me and said, I just hope it'll be worth it, then walked out. I called him, but he hung up. I got done with my project and went to take a shower. I got out and found him in the living room refusing to speak to me after I asked about the party. I went upstairs to finalize my project, but found out that my entire work laptop has been reset. Everything got wiped, including my project. My heart sank. I asked my fiancé if he was behind this, and he just looked at me and said that now we are even. After I refused to come with him to the party and embarrassed him by forcing him to go alone, and get weird looks and questions from everyone. I started yelling at him and called him insecure to care about his public image and looks, and getting even just because I had to work. He said I contributed to this outcome and should have just gone with him. Now I had to start all over again. We started exchanging words and he told me to stop saying he's insecure and petty. He checked into a hotel and has been staying there, constantly texting about how hurt he was that he had to hear me call him insecure and refusing to have any consideration for him. He said that I did make him look bad when I refused to come with him, and he was hurt by that. Our ongoing argument is that I keep saying that just because we're a couple, then I have to attend every event with him, while keep saying that it's classless and socially unacceptable when I let him attend alone, unless I'm sick or traveling. You spelled ex-fiancé incorrectly. You're not the a-hole. Couldn't have said it better myself. OP, you need to understand that undermining your career isn't just a normal insult or overstep. It is a distinct category because it is dangerous. If his controlling behavior gets worse, which it likely will, you will need money, your own health care, the ability to get out and live independently. You need your job to be safe. If he wants to be controlling, domineering, disrespectful, and do it in the way that undermines your financial independence and ability to leave him, you have to take that seriously. Not stay home. You need to take a really long, hard look at this relationship. What he did is not all right. What he did has the potential to affect your financial stability. What he did was abusive, and I hope you see that. I really hope you consider getting out of this relationship. Because if this is what he does now when you're in the honeymoon phase, what is he going to be like when you're married? Please listen to us older experienced women when we tell you that this is going down a very bad path for you. Not stay home. He compromised your career progress, destroyed your valuable work and time, and has the audacity to turn it around on you and complain about his feelings being hurt? I'd personally block his number and let him stew in his hotel room forever. This is beyond petty. It is emotionally and financially abusive for him to destroy your work. I am letting him stew in the hotel. I'm refusing to answer his calls or go see him, because to me this felt like such a betrayal and undermining of my time and effort. I agree that his behavior has crossed pettiness and is becoming worse. Please tell me you're considering ending the relationship. That's so sinister and petty. You do realize you can't marry this man, right? He sounds dangerous, quite frankly. Pack his things and drop it off at his mom's. Next story. Am I the a-hole for warning my husband and sister-in-law after assuming they mocked my brother with an intellectual disability? Me and my husband are newlyweds. We had just gotten married on January this year. Just for the sake of the situation, my husband is generally a decent man. However, to people who are not familiar with his personality, his demeanor might come off as arrogant and harsh. Anyways, last Saturday, I wanted to invite my family to our newly furnished house, just for the usual banter and some food. My sister-in-law had also decided to pay us a visit that day. After the refreshments, me, my brother, my husband, and my sister-in-law decided to watch a movie. We picked the recent Venom movie as per my brother's request. He is extremely fond of superhero movies. As I had already mentioned in the title, my brother has mild autism and an intellectual impediment. At certain parts of the movie, he would have questions, or he would get confused and ask us to rewind so he could internalize a particular scene again. I would admit there was a fair bit of talking going on, but I was also considerate to the feelings of my brother and sister-in-law, and kept my voice low when explaining the details to my brother. During the entire course of the movie, I could see that my husband and sister-in-law were very visibly annoyed. Sister-in-law would sigh and say, "Here we go again," sarcastically every time we paused the movie for my brother. My husband would also laugh along with my sister-in-law and my brother asking certain questions. He would also deliberately quiz my brother on certain words that were said in the movie so that he could ridicule my brother when he didn't know the meaning of a particular word. Sister-in-law would follow up with rude comments like, "I learned that in the 4th grade." My sister-in-law is closer to age of my brother, so she could have been merely teasing him, but I've found both their behaviors to be very offensive. I almost teared up because my brother already goes through a lot with bullies, and to hear rash things like this even at home would only make his self-esteem worse. After the movie was done, I talked to them both privately and complained about their extremely disrespectful behavior. Both of them got very defensive, saying that they were doing it in good fun. And if anything, they were just annoyed that he kept interrupting the movie. They complained that I was overreacting, but I don't know how to feel. I'm not saying it's not fair for them to feel annoyed, but I just wish they expressed it to me at the start, so that maybe me and my brother could have found an alternate way to enjoy the rest of the evening, instead of them projecting their frustration onto my brother. Am I the a-hole for confronting them though? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole, but how did you end up marrying such a person? Thank you. I do get that question from my friends too sometimes. My marriage was arranged by my parents. He is manageable at times, but sometimes he can be too straightforward or rude right to a person's face, and I'm the one who has to advise him to not do it again. He is an a-hole and so is his sister. They sat there bullying your brother. Do your parents know what a major screw-up they made when choosing your husband for you? My husband is generally a decent man. No, he's not. He is mocking a neurodivergent family member. Decent people do not do this. They were just annoyed that he kept interrupting the movie. Deal with it. They are aware of his unique challenges, no? So it's on them for choosing to watch a movie with someone who is going to interrupt. I have a friend with ADHD who cannot sit still during movies. You know what I do? I either don't watch movies with her or I watch movies knowing it'll be interrupted now and again. It's not that hard. Am I the a-hole for confronting them though? Not the a-hole, and this is a hill to die on. They should apologize, profusely and sincerely. End of discussion. I'm in a similar boat as Opie's brother. I am awful about talking during movies. I ask questions, I crack jokes, I laugh super loudly, and I make predictions about the ending. Part of that is learned behavior. My dad is a huge movie buff, and part of that is my own autism and ADHD. I can control myself in a movie theater. In fact, I refused to watch movies with my best friend and her boyfriend because they talked all the way through Black Widow at practically full volume. But at home? No way. I'm already super self-conscious about it. I think I've asked my boyfriend if it bothers him 24 times. I don't watch movies with people I don't know super well. I try as hard as I can to be quiet, but it's genuinely a struggle. I get fidgety and uncomfortable and I can't focus on a movie. Behavior like Opie's sister-in-law and hubby, I would break down. I would never want to be around them again because I would be so mortified and upset. Not stay home. When in good fun, there is a big difference between punching up and punching down. They punched down and were condescending. Definitely, especially when they quizzed him, my heart literally broke. Thankfully, me and my brother stayed longer after they left for another movie to make it up to him. Thank you so much for the input. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my partner he's being stupid? My partner, 23 male, and I, 24 female, have a 7-month-old son. This is our first baby, and things from birth have been stressful in the sense that my partner took a long time to start being a good dad. I was doing 90% of everything until my son was the age of about 4 months. Then it was about 60-40, and it stayed that way since. Well, recently I brought books for my son to read to him before bed, and I thought it was a great idea. We'd be able to have that quality time with him. Tonight, I asked my partner if he wanted to read our son a book before bed. He said, "No, I don't like reading." And I said, "Well, you should read to your son at some point or another. It's a good bonding time." There was just silence, and he didn't really look at me, so I asked, "Are you really not gonna read to your son because you don't like reading?" Silence again. So I said, "I think it's stupid how you won't read to your son because you don't like reading. There's plenty of things I don't like to do but still do them." He responded with a very grumpy whatever. He hasn't really acknowledged my existence since. I feel maybe I could have worded it better and my choice of words make me the a-hole. I wanted to make an edit for those who had questions and just about a few different comments. Firstly, thank you for all who commented. I appreciate it and realized I could have worded things better. Secondly, as far as I'm aware, he doesn't have problems reading. He has read things from his phone before and didn't seem to struggle. Thirdly, people have asked why I had a kid with him. And plain and simple, it wasn't planned. It's not excuse, but I pretty much couldn't have kids. Went to doctors and everything, and I was getting tests done because I was trying for a baby with my ex-husband for years. and would either not fall pregnant or end up having miscarriages. We fell pregnant because we didn't use protection one time. We had a discussion when I fell pregnant that if he didn't want to be a dad, he didn't have to be, and he was more than welcome to leave if this wasn't what he wanted. He decided to stay and actually seemed excited to be a dad. Fourthly, he wasn't like this when we first met. He was kind, caring, it helped me out when I needed it and helped me with my disability as well. He now stays home all day with me. He gets paid from Centrelink to be my full-time carer and mostly plays video games. He doesn't spend quality time with our son. He doesn't stop playing games unless I ask him to feed or change his son. I'm lucky if I get quality time with him as his partner. Hope that clears up any questions people had. Not stay home. But, your partner sucks if he can't even read a baby book to a baby. It's a baby book, right? Not like something huge like Wheel of Time? I chose Wheel of Time as an example because I think it's the type of book someone who doesn't like reading would absolutely hate, due to length and scope of the story. I think Wheel of Time would be great to read to a baby. Lol, I once caught my husband reading the soccer scores from the newspaper to our 4-month-old baby. He was listening to his dad with his mouth slightly open, laying completely still like he was reading him the most beautiful story he ever heard. It was adorable. He's 13 years old now and still loves watching soccer with daddy. When my son was a baby, I read him Terry Pratchett's Night Watch series. He didn't care so much what we were reading, so I read what I wanted. When he got old enough to follow a story, we switched to kids' books. But I don't like to read has about zero impact on residing the very hungry caterpillar to an infant. There was more reading involved in a recipe on the back of Hamburger Helper. Having a kid can be super boring sometimes, but you suck it up to be a good parent. Not stay home. For a literate parent, reading to your child is bare minimum box ticking of being a parent. It is so important to help develop their love of reading at a young age. Is he illiterate or having a learning disability? No, he isn't illiterate, just doesn't like reading. I don't like touching poop, but it comes with parenthood.